There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now let me go back to sharing screen. I think we should be back. Is that right?
You're back.
All right. All right. So we kind of got that one right there. I want to make sure, make sure we cover this one here. So we lead generate for buyers and sellers. You find buyers and sellers. You have an appointment. At an appointment, your goal at a buyer appointment is to get a buyer agreement signed. Your goal of a listing agreement is to get a listing agreement signed or put them in your pipeline for what's going to happen next. You then preview real estate so you know the inventory. Your goal then is to get it sold. Negotiate is added in there because just what I want you to realize about negotiate, the reason it needs to be added, negotiation is really what we get paid the most to do. If you ever go back and find out why somebody had a better experience than another agent, it usually goes back to they did a great job of negotiating. Now, it may not have been like they got, oh my God, they just got us a smoking deal. It may be they helped negotiate to get the deal closed. It may be they went through the inspection period properly. They explained things well. Negotiation is the highest paid skill as a realtor, just so you know. Negotiation is the highest paid skill as a realtor. Now, let's go to the other side over here. Let's go to the other side. And that is run the business. We market our listings. We go show. Now, once we do the left side, then what happens is we go to the right side. And the reason that you'll notice I said negotiate goes on the left because that is a dollar productive activity. So then we run the business. Once we go out there and we lead generate, we find a buyer, we meet with them. They go, hey, yeah, David, I love you, man. You know what? Let's get going. I'm ready to buy a home. So I get them pre-qualified with IntroLend. You're going to meet Rich here in a little bit with our mortgage company. You get them pre-qualified and they're ready to go. So now for sellers, of course, we're going to market the listings. For buyers, we're going to show homes. It's part of the process. We start get online. We're going to show them on the screens. We're going to try and get it down to maybe 10. We're going to go and show homes. Once we find a home, we're going to put it under contract. And then we're going to negotiate. And then we have transaction management. Then we have vendor management. Like, what do we mean by vendor management? Somebody tell me, what do we mean?
HVAC, plumbing, roofing.
If we do, yeah. Now, those kind of things are included in there, included in mortgage, the company or a vendor, the title company you're going to be dealing with, the inspector you're going to be dealing with, okay? Things like that. Now, I do suggest when you do any kind of recommendations, you want to make it the client's choice on who to make. Now, give them 2 or 3 options in doing it. Got to be careful that if you give them this is my compliance hat coming on because I see the other side at a high level. And that is, if you're recommending a contractor and they do something really bad work, who do they blame?
Us.
Who said that? Who was that?
Sounded like Lisa.
They blame us. Now, we all have friends that do a great job. We have good reputations. We all get caught in doing, and once you learn about the IntroLend app, that's the reason the IntroLend mortgage system that we put in place is very good because it gives you the ability to have multiple mortgage companies and you not get caught because they get to actually choose who it is. So I just want you to be careful with that. I'm gonna cover it fairly lightly. Just understand those things. You will find people that do a better job than others. And if they ask you, what do you think about this guy? You say, man, they've done a great job in the past for me. And kind of always want to kind of make it their decision. Now, number 6 is set goals. That set goals is a business. Most of us who run large businesses are currently in goal setting mode. We're actually kind of towards the end of it. Most of us are a little behind in goal setting mode. Anybody know why we're all a little behind on goal setting mode for 2021? There's a reason.
COVID.
Unknown. Yeah, COVID. Now, number 7 is compliance and risk management. Now, that's why we have a brokerage department. We have Lisa Sullivan. We have Nancy Colvin. We have brokers. We have file reviewers in place. You need, though, to be knowledgeable in the contract. You need to be knowledgeable in the contract. You need to know where things go. Somebody tell me right now, can being knowledgeable of real estate law, don't be an attorney, never want to be an attorney. How can being knowledgeable in real estate law benefit you as a realtor and your business and your income? Specifically, how can not by avoiding lawsuits, we all know that, but how can being knowledgeable in the contract and knowledgeable in the process and knowledgeable in real estate, how will that benefit you as a realtor in your business and your income?
You make fewer mistakes and keep moving forward instead of having to go back and fix.
Okay, so who's that? Is that Letha?
Letha.
Letha, thank you. Apologies. Letha, say that again. We couldn't hear you a little bit.
I said, it keeps you moving forward, making fewer mistakes. You don't have to backtrack and fix stuff all the time.
Okay, all right. I love it. That is actually very true. 100% true right there, because those are mistakes. And by the way, when you got to go backtrack and fix things, you got to go it, and that takes you away from lead generation. All right. What's another reason that being knowledgeable and knowing your compliance and knowing your contract and being just knowledgeable in the contract on how to knowing the ins and outs, how can that benefit you in your business and your income?
Builds integrity.
Okay, builds integrity. Agreed. What else?
It makes you a better advocate for your client.
Who said that?
Walter.
Walter, makes you a better advocate for your client. Who else?
Yeah, you're just the professional. So that way you're at any given time, you're ready and prepared to essentially negotiate.
That's right. All those are correct. I loved hearing those variations. Now, here's what happens is when somebody asks, hey, and you're a great negotiator and you are phenomenal at knowing the contract and you made sure and you navigated through that transaction. And then later on, they hear about a month later, a friend of theirs is looking to sell their home. And they go, yeah, we're putting our house on the market. We got this guy we kind of know. We met him through another friend. And you just did a phenomenal job of negotiating. And man, you knew that contract so well. They're like, oh my gosh. What do they tell their friend? All right, this is a fail. What do they tell their friend? They got a friend that's going to sell their home. And they go, well, who are you going to use? They go, well, I got a friend. Somebody I don't know, but I got to refer somebody else, and I haven't met with them yet. And the people you just closed with, you just did a slamming job of negotiating. What do they end up? What is possible that they tell them?
Oh, you got to use my agent.
I'll refer you. Yep.
Now, then, you notice what she said. You gotta use, not you should use. What do they say?
You
gotta use. Can anybody hear that? Are y'all with me right now? Am I losing you? Are we on mute or the microphone's broken? One of the three, right? Are y'all with me right now? Do y'all agree?
Yes.
Okay. That's the experience you want to create. All right. So risk management is important. Attend training and get coaching. You're always sharpening the saw. You ever read Stephen Covey and the 7 Habits? Sharpening the saw applies here. All right. And then managing your money. Managing your what?
Money.
Wow, what a concept. Managing your money. So guys, you need to set up, I'm going to give you the lightest version of this. You need to set up a separate account for a business only. You need to run it like a business. You need to not commingle expenses. If you have an expense that's a personal expense, don't use business account money, period. Use the business account for business expenses. Even if you're not a PLLC or a PC yet, you're not incorporated, doesn't matter. Don't commingle money. If you need money personally, you transfer that money from your business account to your personal account, and it goes as some type of distribution from your company. However you want to do it, talk to your CPA. So manage your money, know your money, run personal and business completely separate. If you go to lunch with somebody and you talk about real estate, yes, that's a business expense. Use the business credit card. Now, what I do, and I don't have them, I have a credit card for each different endeavor I do. So if I have a new business I open up, I may get a new credit card for that. It makes it real easy for my assistant and my CPA to do it. Real easy, even if I did it, I'm going there. All right. So guys, here is right now, and this one you may want to make a little bit larger. This is the kind of the process. Now this is, Dan, this is kind of Ignite as a whole, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in the lead generation model right now and talking about it kind of as a holistic standpoint. You're going to go into more lead generation and you're going to cover a lot in your database. What I am not going to cover today, I will not be covering command. I'm not qualified to teach it. I know how to use command, getting better at it. I love command. It's easy. I'm just not your command trainer. Okay. And that's okay. And just remember my thoughts on command is all I got to do is go lead generate enough to create the revenue. I can pay somebody to do command if I had to. Am I with me?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
this is the lead generation model right here. This is the lead generation model. This is essentially, it kind of shows it how it all interconnects. And I know it says right there how it funds your big why. This model right here is encompassing it all as kind of how they all connect together. Now, I want to walk through it for you and kind of show you this. And I want to talk about, I mentioned earlier about some commonalities about agents that are successful. I said the myth is there's not one way to lead generate. And that's true. Like you'll hear people say open house is the only way to go. You can run a really large business and never do an open house. Very rare, just so you know, but you can. And the open houses, it's not about the open house, it's about the activities, the lead generation that goes around the open house. You'll hear people cold call. You'll hear people for sale by owners, which I think is a phenomenal opportunity. You'll hear people talk about expired. You'll hear them door knocking. The only common denominator between all of those is there's contact driven. Now, so I want you to make sure you have this large on your screen, or you can look in your book if you have it printed out. You got your book together. And the very top on section 1, that is lead generation. Now I'm going to cover lead generation a little bit more here in a minute. That is essentially lead generation right there of everything to do with prospecting and marketing. And prospecting and marketing we're going to cover here in a minute, but I'm probably going to cover it actually. Let me kind of go through here, and there's some good slides in here, break it apart. You may want to leave it, you want to have this whole slide. So I'm going to go to the next slides. You're going to want to work from your book though, as I go through this, because I'm going to take it off of the whole picture and I'm going to go to more of a breakdown of them. Does everybody have the book printed out? Because it will be easier for you to take notes if you have the book. And if you don't, and you got it on your screen, make sure you have it on your screen as well of doing it. All right, so let's walk through this really quick. Now, lead generation, we talk about that. Prospecting and marketing is section 1. Every day you should be lead generating. Lead generation is basically 2 concepts. It's prospecting, it's marketing. You prospect and market to 2 kinds of people. People you know and people you don't know. Now, you can see right here on the left on number 2, those are called leads. Now, don't confuse this with somebody like a lead. I just got a lead of somebody who's looking to buy a home and you've already talked to them. A lead, and I want everybody to listen carefully and take some notes on here. In this model here, a lead is somebody that you know about and they don't know you. Let me give you an example of this. Somebody who logs in and they register on you do a Facebook ad through command, and they log in and they give you their information. You don't know them yet. You haven't contacted them. They know who you are. Nope, correction. You know who they are. They don't know who you are. If you go and you get a for sale by owner lead, you know about them. They don't know about you. Okay. Now let's just say you're making your lead generation calls, and you call a friend of yours. Okay, you call them, and you start talking to somebody you just closed a home for. Hey, Dan, David Jones here, Keller Williams Realty. Yeah, Dave, what's going on, man? This is first of all, is how's the house looking? Y'all get everything moved in? Yep, it's going fine. Y'all get that little repair fix we talked about? Yep, it's all done. Everything's working good. Fantastic. So, well, Dan, I just want to remind you that, you're going to start hearing about people that are maybe renting and they don't need to rent, kind of like you were, or it's a great time to buy right now because interest rates are so low. And if you do hear about anybody selling, which is a good chance you're going to hear about people selling because it just happens, let me know, because I got about 5 buyers right now that we can't find a home for. He goes, you know what? I got this guy at work I was just talking to the other day, and he's renting. He was talking about, I was telling about my new home and my new housewarming party. And I think he needs to buy a home, and he seemed really interested. I said, well, Craig, can I call him? He goes, yeah, call him. His name's Joe. Here's his number. So he gives me Joe's number. Joe is what? Where does Joe fall on my screen right now? Anybody know?
He's a lead.
He's a lead. I know about Joe, and Joe doesn't what?
What about you?
Doesn't know about you.
Doesn't know about you. Doesn't know about me. So Dan may give me a little information on Joe and says, yeah, he works in the company. He's been there for a long time. Fantastic guy. I don't know why he's renting, man. Interest, it's like free money. It was better than my rent was. And so I call up Joe. I said, Joe, David Jones, Keller Williams Realty. Hey, I was just talking to Dan. I was his agent. He just bought that. Yeah, I know. He loves that home. Man, he's going to be great. That housewarming party is in 2 weeks. Are you going? Well, the reason I'm calling is Dan told me about your conversation the other day that you're renting and you thinking about buying. Are you serious about that? Is it worth us talking? And he's, yeah, it's really worth talking. Fantastic. Like, is it worth us, you and I get together, like sitting down and really putting a plan together? Or is it just something you're just a maybe? All right, well, let's get together. I tell you what, we can get coffee, or the best use of our time is come by the office, use a conference room. And so I set up a meeting with a conference room, and I set an appointment. So Joe moves from a lead, he becomes a contact. A contact is, I know about him, they know about me. It is a met, somebody I know. I'm going to get his, hey, well, I'm talking on the phone, by the way, in that conversation, Joe, what's your phone? I got your phone number, of course, duh. What's your email? And now what's your physical address currently right now? I'll put all that in the system. Joe moves from prospecting and marketing. He moves down to a lead, and now he moves to a contact. Have I got it? Now, very simple. I do want to break down before I go to the next phase in here, talk a little bit about lead generation. Then we'll go back to our story with Joe. By the way, Joe does end up buying a house, in case you're one of those guys that need to know the end of the story. Now, prospecting and marketing. Lead generation is basically two things. Guys, don't overcomplicate real estate. It's two things, prospecting and marketing. So when somebody says, are you going to go lead generate? It either means you're going to sit down and design something like a marketing campaign on Facebook, or you're going to sit down and make calls, or you're going to email, or you're going to text, or you're going to door knock, or something of that nature. Everybody with me on that? Marketing is money. Prospecting is time. Prospecting is seeking. Marketing is attracting. Prospecting is faster, immediate results, more proactive. Marketing takes money. Essentially what happens is prospecting is me sitting down and being proactive and going out and searching for business. Marketing, and by listening carefully, is throwing a net out there. Let's do fishing. I go fishing. Some of y'all probably been fishing. I love to fish. I go out and I throw a hook in the water. That's marketing. What am I doing? When I go out on the ocean, I used to fish with my granddad when I was growing up, and I throw a hook in the water. What do I do? Somebody tell me if you've been fishing before, what do? I throw a hook in the water, and what do?
You wait.
I sit and wait. Has anybody ever had a good day fishing?
Yes.
Anybody ever had a bad day fishing?
Yes.
Marketing, who's in control? Now, what do you do when you're fishing and you're not biting, fish aren't biting? What do you do?
Change your bait.
Or you change your bait, love it, or you move. Marketing, same way. Who's in control though when you're fishing? Be honest with you. You can control the bait you throw. You can control where you go. Who's in control though? Be honest. I know it sounds very like, who's in control?
The fish.
The fish are in control. Everybody got it?
Yep.
Now with prospecting, I'm going to proactively go get underwater and dive and go find the fish. So now the analogy doesn't work as well. You got the idea with marketing, by the way, I can tell. Proactively prospecting is me proactively calling people. Hey, Dan, David Jones, Keller Williams Realty. Yeah, David, I know you're with Keller Williams. We love it. By the way, that's going to happen every time. Dan, you ever have that happen when you call somebody and use the company and they go, yeah, I know, Dan.
Yeah, I know. I do this to my mom.
Yeah, that's right. So but you're going to call people up. You're going to be proactive about it, because what's going to make an impact on somebody's brain? Like, I want you to imagine this brain is called top of mind awareness. I want you to remember that the average person can only remember one, maybe two, rarely three brands in their head at any given time. Especially the service industries. Service industries means accounting, means mortgage, real estate, attorneys, especially service industries, because there's different. There's not a branding campaign. At the end of the day, in all marketing, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Marketing is a book, great book. Read it one time. I had to read it because I was presenting on it one time years ago. But the lessons are lifelong. That book, they said that the end, it becomes a 2-horse race. Everything becomes a 2-horse race. It ends up becoming 1, maybe 2, sometimes 3 realtors. Now, like somebody in this class right now, if y'all want to play along, somebody on here, one person is, give me the name of an accountant. Say your name first and then tell me the name of the accountant. Go.
Roccosi.
So give me your name first. Who went? Who was that?
Jason Thompson.
All right, Jason. All right, so Jason, tell me the name. You named an accountant. Name him again.
Roccosi.
All right,
Roccosi
Now,
accounting.
Jason, give me a name of another accountant.
Drew Marvin.
Okay. Now, give me the name of a third accountant. Everybody with me on this?
Mm-hmm. You can
I
do
didn't
it.
I didn't stage Jason.
I don't have a third one.
So everybody figure out, somebody tell me what just happened.
He had room in his head for 2.
And what did he do? He had one really quick.
I can't think of one off my head.
He had one that was delayed. He had a second one that's delayed, and he couldn't think of a third. Everybody see that?
Yeah.
Realtors work the same way. So what is your job as a realtor then?
Become number 1 in everyone's brain.
Number 1, maybe number 2, and you never want to be what?
Third.
You never want to be number 3. Have I got it? That's simple. That's how it works. You call your goal. And remember this, if person's brains, most people's brains don't have the ability to hold you in their mind for a long time, whether you like it or not. I'm sorry, they're not thinking about you. And if you don't stay in contact with them on the phone, on email, sending in the mail, on different ways, they are going to forget about you. Have I got it? Period. It's just going to happen. And you're going to find it happening. And you go ask any realtor, I challenge you this. You go ask any realtor that's been in business for longer than 2-3 years. 1 year possibly, but mainly 2-3 or more years. And you ask them, if you ever had somebody buy a house from another agent? And what are they going to say?
Yeah.
Probably, yes.
They're gonna give you an answer like this. They're gonna say yes. Man, what happened? Everybody turned their cameras off. I lose everybody? All these cameras are off. This is an interactive show here, by the way, guys. We pay a lot of money for these presentations. It's good. It's so hey, there you go, Walter. Hello. You want to be number 1, period. Everybody got it? Now let's keep moving along here, and we're going to move through our funnel in here. And we covered marketing and prospecting. Okay, so that's the beginning of it. Now we're going to go back into our pipeline and talk about this on the database management side. Now, all on the database management side, all of this, here's what I'm going to give you my command spiel in here. And that is, command is designed, everything we're talking about is congruent. This whole model of the funnel going down is all in alignment with command. So it all goes together where you can have the pipeline, you got all the same terminologies. One of the biggest things in the past, just so everybody knows, is when I've taught real estate. I've been in real estate for 19 years, and I've been teaching real estate classes, probably 16 of that, maybe longer actually. I think I started as a rookie, to be honest with you, because I was farming a lot. Is that all of the terminology was not congruent. We were having to say, okay, where if you use this program, it's called this, and None of it was congruent. All the terminology in here is the same. So when you get off of these, now my suggestion is going to be this, and I'm going to probably get a little bit out of my area of expertise, and that is when you start loading in command. If you're just starting your business, you're in a perfect place. The people that are kind of handicapped are the ones that have 1,000 person databases and they're having to load them, or 2,000, they're loading them in, and it becomes it's messy, not because of command's fault. It's messy just because it's a lot of data. And the data, anybody ever transferred a lot of data? It never goes smoothly. Would y'all agree with that? And so my suggestion is that you literally, if you're starting your career right now, you start loading them in one by one by one by one as you're making your contacts. Maybe do a little mass importing, and you make sure you categorize them systematically in the beginning. Okay. Now, if you're going to do, Dan, are you teaching the DTD2, the DTD4?
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday when they're doing their inputs to start putting that tag on there.
I don't know this answer. I should. Is that a default? What do you call it?
Tag, no.
Tag, no. Okay. So you may want to create tags for the alphabet system. Dan has it. And basically if you call 2 letters of the alphabet every week, you're going to call your database 4 times a year. So all I'm going to give you, I'm giving you, 30,000 foot views right now. I trust you're taking notes. You're not taking notes. You're not going to remember all this. And it's going to be hard for you to implement. You may implement 1 or 2. You take notes, you implement most of it. So make sure you go in and enter your database and tag them properly. Tagging may be the most important thing you do when putting them in command. Now, you may have other tags. What would be some examples of, so you want to make sure you do the DTD2. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't stress. Just write down in your notes. Learn how to tag using the DTD2 system. DT, do the database to. DTD2. So just write it down. Learn to tag using the DTD2 system. There's also something called DTD4. Do the database 4 letters per week. You got a small database, do 4 letters per week. But you also want to tag them in other things. What would be some other tags you would want to put in there? By the way, this could be across the board. There's nothing one way on this one. What some other tags?
Hobbies.
Say it again. What would be some other tags you want to tag them? Give me some ideas. Guys, for me, I'd say golf. I'd probably tag one for anybody who plays golf.
So quilting or sewing.
Perfect. What else? Who else?
Birthdays.
Photography.
They
Yeah,
could be
family.
into photography. If you're into photography, they could be into photography. Exactly. Who else?
Like how you knew them, neighbor or
Could be a neighbor. Anything you got when you do tagging. So some easy ones would be cyclist. Could be out of state would be a great tag. They're not in Arizona. They're not in Pima County. Or they are in Pima County. That'd be a great tag. Now that should be easy to pull by city. Pima County wouldn't be a bad one. Any other ones you see on a regular basis, Dan?
Cats, dogs, wine, beer.
Yeah, dog park.
Dog park. There you go. So here's my point. Guys, the more you know about somebody, the more you tag. And is there a limit on tags, Dan?
Nope.
There used to be. It's not anymore. That's right. I mean, that changed that a while back, but yeah. So make sure you get in there and you're tagging them. So you can see right in there, essentially your updates it. Guys, you put them in command. And you should be looking at your database every day. It is not something you throw in command and leave it alone. You can go up and look. Say there's a golf tournament going on for charity that you're interested in. You go to your golfers and you say, and you just send an email to them. And you go, hey, there's a golf tournament coming up. I was thinking about playing in. Anybody interested? And it's signed by you as a realtor. No big deal. Is that a cool touch? What do y'all think?
Mhm.
If you're a hiker, hey, anybody know, you send just throw an email out. Anybody know of any new hiking trails? I really want to get out and try something different. Tumamoc I'm getting bored of Tumamoc. Are you with me right now? Can y'all see how this can be a benefit right here? Now, the biggest thing you got to remember is you build a database, and then number 2 is you feed it every day. You feed it every day. every time you meet somebody, you go to an open house, 10 people come to the open house. One thing about buying, you got 9 people you just met. Those 9 don't get thrown away with that piece of paper. Those 9 get put into command and get put in your database. You just added 9 more people to your database. Everybody got it? Are y'all tracking me right now? What's your thoughts on this? What are you taking away from this conversation right now?
I have a question. You said there was no limit on the tags. Does
I don't
that mean
believe- I don't
per
believe there is, no.
contact?
Say it again.
Per contact, you can put in more than one tag
You can put up to 20.
on each contact?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
can, and here's the reason is, like, I would have one that's called, Dan, what do we typically call in our database these days? Is it just database or contacts?
Contacts is the command term.
What is it? Contacts? Okay, so your contacts are the people in your database that are in your market area, basically, is my advice. You can use them for everywhere in the world, but let me tell you, the army of people that are going to help you build your business is the people that live. Let me give you the definition of the most important group of contacts you need to have. And that should be your contact one, is the people you have their name, their email, their phone number, their address, and they live in your market area. That group of people is your focused army of people. Now, you could have another database contact list of people that live outside of your market area. Phoenix, you could have a specific database for Phoenix, for the record, Phoenix metro area, because they got a good probability of referring to Tucson. But now the further you get away from Tucson, the lower the probability of them being able to instantaneously refer you. Now, as you got, everybody needs to have a tag geographically, in my opinion. Market area, semi-market area, out of state. Is everybody with me right now? Then you can start doing other sub tags inside of there. Anybody who's a dog lover would have dogs on there. I've never been a cat lover. My daughter just recently got a cat. She's at college. Thank goodness not in the house. You could cat lover on there. You could put golf. You could put hiking. You put cycling. So now people have overlap. Everybody got it? I'll give you a quick hint about great databases. The more overlap, the better. Now, you got to be careful that you're not overdoing it with tags. You know, they love red meat. So I don't know. You know, everybody with me on this? You don't want to overdo it with tags. Whatever is going to give you a legitimate reason to start contacting people. The more organized you get in the beginning, the better. All right. Any other questions on the contacts, the tagging? And by the way, you get this mastered, everything else outside of this, the whole system, the pipeline, the opportunities, all that in command are easy after this. All right. Any questions on this? All right. So let's go to our next slide in here and let's keep moving along. Dan, you got anything you want to add in that on command by chance?
Feed your database. Do it.
Yeah.
Don't fight it.
All right. So I've talked about this a while ago. Leads. So this is going to be pretty quick in this one here. Leads and contacts. Lead is you have a one-way conversation, relationship with them. You basically, you have a valid contact information. You have a one-way conversation where you are seeking permission. So you know about them. You know who they are. They don't know who you are. Contacts are, you have a two-way relationship with them. That's it. Pretty simple in there. All right. Next portion, I'm not going to cover any more of the technology stuff in there. So now, when you're lead generating, here's the basic plans for lead generating when it comes to leads and contacts. Now, just remember this, to make this very easy. When you have there's a lot of people, like if you go to a large agent, like an agent who does a lot of business, you go, the Jones team, that's my wife and I, Tracy Jones. You go to my wife and say, hey, do y'all have any leads in your system that you need to call? Like if an agent joined the team, they can jump on the system at any time and start banging out phone calls. We got data on data. We got thousands of leads in the system that people just haven't called. People go, man, I just want 5 leads. That's right. That's what happens is it becomes the big first problem is not enough leads. The second problem is too many. I can't manage them all. By the way, that's a good problem to have. The goal though of a lead is to turn them into a what?
Contact.
I heard it, somebody whispered it. Say, use your outside voice.
Contact.
Is to turn them into a contact. How do you take a lead and turn it into a contact?
Meeting them.
Okay, meeting them meeting them, yes. And here I got
Nurture them.
Creating a
you what?
connection.
call
Creating a
them.
connection.
You call them. What do you do?
Call them.
You call them. That's all you do. To turn a lead to a contact is you call them. Hey, it's David Jones, Keller Williams Realty. I just saw you logged into the website. Looks like you're perusing around. I don't know what you're looking at. And, I'm excited. It looks like you're buying a home. Is there anything I can help you with? Find any data you need on the information you're looking for? Yeah, I was looking at this one property. Boom. I got his name. I now know who he is. I'm talking to him. I turn him into a contact. Now, we've got to have a systematic approach to talking to them and doing this. And leads, we have what's called 19 to connect. So we have 19 touches to connect. So we have their name and their phone number, most likely is what we have. And now our goal is to get in touch with them, maybe and probably have their email address. So they're going to fall into our 4. If you'll notice on the commonality between the top and the bottom, the 19 to 36, the leads and the contacts is they both are part of your calls every quarter. So they're going to get the 4 calls a year. Now, the differences start coming next a little bit is they're going to get 12 emails a year, 1 per month. Now, of those 12 touches, they could be mail or email. Doesn't matter. The goal is for you to touch them 4 times. Now, I get a lot of people say this. Everybody listen carefully here. I don't have their mailing address. Then I wouldn't mail them. You're going to email them only. Everybody got it? Typically, a 19 to connect is not hard. Usually you have their name and their email. So it's very common for those 12 touches to be email. So a lot of people go, well, I don't know who they are. Well, everybody counts. Everybody matters. It's a lead generation game. Stop making reasons why you can't call somebody. You don't know them yet. So 4 calls a year, 12 touches by email, maybe mail if you want to, if you have it, that's fine. And you can see other things, a market report, video, etc. 2 promotional mails per year if you have it. Now, you notice on this one here, you can see the 4 touches at the very bottom. You see 4 as a commonality between the 2 as well, is the 4 promotional mailings per year, which could be something of a little bit more impact. We call it a high impact type thing. Could be a calendar. You got things on here. You got promotional direct mail, magnet, calendar, market report, things like that. And then the leads, the 19 to connect has 1 event you invite them to per year, opposed to 2. So this is the 19 to connect for people you leads. You know them, they don't know you, or maybe barely know them, maybe met them in an open house 1 time and really never stayed in touch. The bottom is we have contacts now. These is your database. That bottom section where it says contacts, guys, this is your system for getting top of mind awareness. This is your system for what?
Getting top of mind awareness.
All right. This is your system for getting top of mind awareness. So when they think of you, they think of real estate, they think of real estate, they think of you. Both of those things.
What's the whole annual event, party, movie screening, get together? Is that stuff we formulate or Keller Williams formulates and we invite them?
I mean, you're doing it for, remember, you are the business.
Right.
Okay.
So we make the annual event or the party. Or
and a very simple way of doing it. So here's the cool thing about events. So let me go through these first. I'm gonna cover events last, okay? So 4 touches a year, which is the phone calls. Those are gonna be automatic, like clockwork. Don't have any kind of biases, no call bias, make the calls. 26 bi-weekly emails, an email every other week. That is not that many. I get an email from Kohl's every day. Okay, we're not talking about every day. We're talking about every other week. If I got it? Now, I get a lot of people talk about spam and junk. What's the number 1 reason that people, their emails go into spam or junk, or they get unsubscribed to? So let's use spam or junk, same category, or they unsubscribe. What's the number one reasons that those things happen?
There's no value.
No value is one. Agreed. If I write this down, there's no relationship.
All right.
No relationship. If you're not making the phone calls, there's a good chance they unsubscribe. If you're making the phone calls, whether you get a hold of them or not, there's a lower chance they unsubscribe. Have I got it? Now, they may delete them every time, be honest with you. They may delete them, but here's what happened. That one time you get a hold of them, you talk to them for 2 minutes, no big deal. They hang up the phone. Next time that email comes in, they notice it. Have I got it?
Yep.
Now, 2 events. Let's go to the 4 promotional items. I already kind of mentioned that one. And the 2 events. Now, I'm going to tell you it's not about the event. It's about the activities of the event. And I would suggest you start with 1 event and maybe something you enjoy doing. I've not heard of people doing pancake breakfasts because it's very inexpensive. I've heard of people doing petting zoos. I've heard of people doing movies. They ran out the entire movie. But God, I know right now, get your COVID brain unlocked for a second. We're going to pretend COVID's not around. Things were handling a little different now. I get it. People did movie screenings of a new movie, like the movie Frozen came out. One of our agents did a screening where they invited everybody for free to come watch the movie Frozen, and they had people come in with their kids all dressed up. It was amazing. We've seen beer tastings at beer gardens. Do those. Any others you can think of, Dan, or anybody else?
But the pie pickups is going on right now.
Yeah, pie is a big thing right now. Pie would be an event. Man, I remember there was only a couple of agents doing that years back. Now people do it. They give away pies. And basically the idea of the pie is this: come get a free pie, and we want to see you again. They come by the office, you give them a pie, you just saw them again. Do you think there's a chance you get referrals just by the fact you interacted with them just now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. So Nicole, does that answer your question on the events, kind of ideas around that? No, it doesn't?
Yeah, it does. Uh-huh.
Okay, good. You're a little dark on my side. No big deal. Just making
Sorry.
And
No, it's okay.
question, David,
Yeah.
how frequently would you say it would, to do these events again?
Space them apart, 6 months apart, almost exactly. I mean, the pie one is the most famous right now. The pie companies have to love real estate agents over the years because we buy a lot of pies at Christmas time. Thanksgiving time specifically now, it seems to be the trend. So space them out 6 months apart. People tie charity to their events a lot too.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah, they tie, very common is tying charity to it. We do that. So yeah, it just depends on how you're going to tie it together. I mean, in Tucson, you could tie something to the gem show. Once again, I know things are being canceled, but you get the idea. The gem show could be tied to the gem show, could be tied to the rodeo. I'm originally from San Antonio, and we have something called Fiesta every year, and it's very common to have an event tied to Fiesta. Fiesta is a huge event like Mardi Gras like. So remember this, guys, though, it's not about the party. It's all the contacts. It's the save the date. It's the text message reminder. It's the, hey, we're so glad you're coming. Hey, we're sorry you can't make it. To the follow-up, to the Facebook page, to the photos afterwards, to the sorry we missed you. We're so glad you came. Everybody got it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that does not replace those 4 phone calls per quarter. Is everybody with me? It does not replace the 4 phone calls per quarter. All right. I already talked about this. Manage your database, custom tags, smart views, interactions, smart plans. All those things start setting up early. Just get it going. Put them in, launch it. It's just not one of those things where you got to launch them all at one time. I got to get them all loaded in. You can put one person. The first contact I put in my system was my mom. No lie. And she still gets an email campaign. She still gets the emails today on doing it. Okay. So adding contacts to your database. I'm not going to cover this. Y'all can just focus. I'm going to tell you this. What's the best way for you to learn command? Just like any technology.
Do it.
Play with it.
Do it. Say it again, Stephen.
Just play with it.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Anybody ever, by the way, here's funny. What's one piece of technology that all of us are better at now?
Computers.
Zoom,
Zoom.
Say it again, Dan.
Zoom.
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 Yeah.
I am borderline expert at Zoom now. Why are we experts at Zoom? Why did we get so much better at Zoom?
The only way to communicate, and it's our way of meeting.
And let's call it what it is, because we were forced to.
Yeah.
You with me? All right. Let's keep going here. Y'all know these smart views. You're going to do those. Interactions. Dan, just give us a highlight of the interaction section. You explained this last time a little bit better.
So the interaction is going to give you a great overview of the conversations, contacts, meetings, visits you've had with your clients. And it's going to be good to keep all your notes in there so you can quickly reference the conversations you've had and be able to have elongated relationships over time. And it's easier to do that if you're keeping constant notes. That way, you know when you talked to them last, you know when you saw them last, you know when the information that you need to follow up and talk to them there. And that's what that contact timeline's there to help you keep all that. Plus, if they're on your mobile app or your website, you get a fishbowl view of all the things that they're doing within your database. Looking at website, looking at houses, saving houses, requesting views of houses, all right there, all in one place to keep your contact even shorter.
I told you Dan does a better job explaining that.
Play with it a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've gotten good at it. I've been putting database in, et cetera, and putting some people in there and doing the opportunities across there. So, what I learned is with the database is you got to start with the contacts, custom tag them correctly. Understanding your smart views and interactions is very important. And then just get a smart plan launched. Like you're going to want to go into smart plans and want to get it perfect. Is everybody with me on this? Don't make it perfect. You can always what later on?
We can.
You always change it. You find, we can share smart plans. If an agent goes out and does a custom smart plan, you can actually go and you can share that smart plan and you can go use it. Like you're talking to an agent, he goes, yeah, I did my own custom smart plan. And this is what it, oh my God. And they can share that and you can actually use it in your command. Did I get that pretty accurate, Dan?
Yep.
Yep. See? All right. I think we're all on the right page here. Sales pipeline is real important in here. Now, all of this is congruent with command, and we're going to walk in here, and you're going to go into more detail of lead generation as time goes on, but I do want to talk about this. So let's go back to Joe. I told you my Joe story is I called Dan. Dan closed on his house. Dan goes, yeah, I was talking to Joe. I work with Joe. I was so excited. I told Joe, you need to buy a house, man. You stop renting. Interest rates are crazy low. And Joe goes, I know. And I said, and I called Joe up, David Keller Williams. I said, hey, I was talking to Dan, and Dan told me, yeah, I know he loves that house. By the way, is that a real conversation, Dan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've had hundreds of these, 1,000 probably. Like, yeah, Dan loves that house. And what about you, man? And he says you're interested in maybe, are you tired of investing in somebody else's investment? He goes, yeah. So, all right, let's get together. So Joe and I set an appointment. Now, let me give you what cultivate means, because I'm got to go to number 5 and bypass number 4 for the record. So I talked to Joe, and Joe goes, oh yeah, we did talk about it. I'm going on vacation for the next week. Man, let me check my accounts. Let me think about it, David. Hey, you know what, Joe? No worries. I'm here to help you. I don't know how long interest rates are going to stay where they're at. Heck, they could be here for another year, or they could be here another week. I don't know. I said, can I follow up with you and at least know where interest rates are when you get back from your vacation? He goes, yes, do that. Call me in a week and a half. At least I'll get back, get settled in. Got it. You got it, Joe. So Joe goes into cultivate. Everybody got it? He's in my pipeline. Now, it doesn't say pipeline on here, although he goes in my pipeline. And you have a pipeline where you can look up. And Joe goes into the system as something called an opportunity. Is that right? Right, Dan?
Yes, sir.
He goes to what's called it. So I take Joe, I've already in him and has had a contact. I put him in there. I put him in as a contact that I know him. He lives in the market area. We're communicating. I may put in the notes referred by Dan. in that fish bowl that Dan was talking about of my, what's that called again? The interactions. Okay, I look in there, friends with, referred by Dan, works with Dan Caldwell. I may put some notes in there. I may have found out he plays golf, maybe not, doesn't matter. Whatever I tag him, he's in there. And then now I drag him and I put him into opportunities. So now every time I have somebody that goes into opportunities, I get to go pull up command. I get to go read it. Who are my opportunities? Every day I'm looking at my opportunities, so you know. How often am I looking at my opportunities?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. Why?
You don't want to miss an opportunity.
Because these are the people that have shown interest in buying or selling. Everybody got it?
Yeah.
So they go into the opportunities, and that opportunities I get to review every day, call out, hey, maybe I pick up the phone. Oh, I forgot. Dan knows this guy. Hey, Dan. Hey, I talked to Joe. He's on vacation right now. Do you happen to see him before vacation? I think he's interested in buying. Yeah, he's going to buy. Don't worry. He's just like that. Anybody ever heard somebody say something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So I called Dan. Fantastic. You know what? Interest rates are really low. I don't want to force him. So let me know. Are you sure, Dan, that I should be calling him? I don't want to feel like I'm pushed. But no. He's good. Follow up like you said. I already told him. So he goes in my pipeline. He's an opportunity. I go check it. My seller pipeline, my buyer pipeline. Guys, the health of your business. Everybody listen to this carefully. The health of your business is based on the health of your pipeline. If your pipeline is empty, I can show you an agent who's not making money for 60 days minimum. Anybody got it? Minimum 60 days, they're not making money. If I walked up to you and I said, hey, Ashley, show me your opportunity, show me your pipeline, and there's nothing in it. Well, most likely it's, and let's just say somebody tells me, and I won't spot just Ashley because you were right there on my screen. So, sorry for calling you out. So, if it's not in some type of organized fashion, so if I go of opportunities, it's not there. I'm like, where's your pipeline? And I have it on a spreadsheet. Okay, that's better than nothing. Where do most people keep their pipelines? And what ends up happening?
Get it.
All right. So now Joe's in my pipeline. Joe's in opportunities. I now identified him as an opportunity. I put the data in there. As much information as I have, I put it in there. And now I called Joe back a week and a half. Hey, Joe, how was vacation? Oh, it's fantastic. Is that your first time to Cabo? Absolutely, it was. I said, oh, that's cool. Yeah, we have a Keller Williams office in Cabo. Oh, cool. So, so you ready to get together? Dan still wants me to make sure so if I'm bugging you, it's Dan's fault, just so you know, Joe. By the way, does levity help? If I say yes.
Absolutely.
So Dan, by the way, Joe, if you feel like I'm bugging you, first of all, you don't want an agent this week, do you? So it's Dan's fault. He told me to call you back. He goes, I said, tell you what, sounds like you're interested. Let's get together. Now, what I'd like to do ahead of time, Joe, would you be okay getting pre-qualified so we can see kind of where you're at? And it's no harm. They do kind of a soft pull on your credits. No harm, no foul. You'll love Rich. And then you can actually choose between multiple mortgage companies if you'd like. Would you like to go ahead? Let's get you pre-qualified before our meeting, and that'll make our meeting much more meaningful. So I get him processed through, get him pre-qualified. We just set an appointment. We go to number 5. Number 5, we meet. Joe goes, let's do this, man. Let's go. He goes into active. Active means we're showing homes. Joe and I go look at homes. By the way, during the process, am I doing the same thing on my pipeline, on my command? I'm dragging him over. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't freak. You'll see it. I'll drag him over to the next one. I'll drag him over to the next one. Have I got it? I'm tracking where I have it. He goes active. We're looking at homes. He finds the home. I said, man, we got to act quick. Inventory's low. This thing's getting showings. If you want this house, got to put in an offer today. By the way, that'll also be in my dialogue with him for pre-qualifying. Am I with me? Part of my dialogue of today is you've got to be by the way, if I was you, I would never show a single home. You've never heard it to me say that this straightforward. I would never show a single home to a buyer that's not pre-qualified. Why? Somebody tell me why. Not because I'm mean. I have these mean standards and I'm so arrogant. There's a
You
reason.
don't have enough information.
Well, their information. There's another really, really good reason.
You know, there's nothing worse than showing people what they can't afford or getting somebody's hopes up for something that's just never going to happen. And how bad does that make you look if you allow somebody to go through that, experience all those emotions, and then be like, oh, never mind,
Agreed.
you can't do that.
Sarah, 100% agree. There's another reason of the market of today.
Mm.
The
always
second a
one.
buyer finds a home that they want, what do they have to do right then?
Put in an offer.
Yeah.
Put in an
that's-
offer. And if they don't have, if they're not pre-qualified, they're not, I'm telling you right now, for the most part, I'm going to say, yes, you never heard me say this directly. For the most part, there's a really good chance they're not getting that property.
Mm.
If I got it? Now, when the market is a middle grade market or maybe lean into a buyer's market, you can get away with it. You can get away with a little bit. I've been in hot markets. I went through the last crash. I've been through all of those markets, and we all adapt differently in all those markets. And right now, and I'm telling you, you'll have the same conviction I have. You just got to have one thing happen, and you have the same conviction I have. What is that? Have it happen to you.
Right, have the disappointment of it.
Exactly. The second you have one buyer that's and then all of a sudden, here's what happens is, then you're all now pissed off, excuse my language, you're pissed off with the lender because you think they're slow, because you need it so fast, because you're stressed. And then all those things go on, when if you had just been proactive and had that letter ready to go, you could have pulled the trigger right then. And I'm telling you, you got to get an offer. If a buyer walks into a property and that's the right property for them, and my God, this is what I've been dreaming of my whole life, you better write that offer up right that moment, and you better submit it right then. And you're going to evaluate this. You're going to talk to the buyer about it, and probably got to put in a pretty good, solid offer. Dan, you've been experiencing a lot of agents going through some things doing that. Anything to add to that?
The safety aspect, if a client's not willing to get pre-qualified or do something like that, we don't have a second person knowing their contact information or anything like that for the safety aspect of it. Never do I want you to pick up the phone, hey, I want to go look at this house, and then jump and run out your car, because you're putting yourself at risk by not having a meeting first and knowing who you're working with.
Yeah, I agree with that. The safety aspect is very true. And that's one of the regular ones. The difference one right now is don't even, in the conversation you have with them is this. Like if you're serious, like perusing doesn't happen much right now in real estate, because there's a chance that you schedule a showing and that house is under contract by the time you schedule it and before you see it. Everybody with me on that?
Yeah.
Which tells me this. I'm going to tell you my instinctive thought right now. I want listings. People go, well, listings are harder to find. Yeah, but when I get a listing, how fast do they sell? They sell like that. All right. Any questions on that right there? I got pretty direct on that because I want to make sure you got some conviction around that. Any questions regarding that kind of concept right there? Does it make sense, everybody? All right, so tech demo smart plans. All of these are just smart plans on here. In there, you got all kinds of different options. I don't need to show them all to you. You know what they are. You just load a person in there and load them on a smart plan. It's really that simple. Dan, anything to add to that? Because I know you work in this area pretty heavily.
Just go explore them, look at them. There's a ton of out there that Keller Williams and other massive creators do for us. So check them out. Play with it. And we talked about yesterday. Make sure you add yourself to at least one.
Yeah, put yourself in there and put a family member on there as well. Load somebody else in there and tag them, etc. All right. So guys, give me some ahas out of that section. I'm going to do some recapping on here. We're talking a little bit about scripts, what to say, and I'm probably do a little bit of ad lib on lead generation side right there. What are your takeaways? Give me some ahas on the lead generation, kind of the lead generation process right there. What are your takeaways?
Don't be afraid to talk, guys.
This is
I need the
Go ahead.
I need to not only put like potential leads into my contacts on command, but I need to put everyone in my contacts on command.
Yeah, so people ask me all the time, who goes in my database? Everybody counts, everybody matters. And you could custom tag your database. Everybody needs to go in command. Everybody. Even people you don't like buy homes, for the record. And you could tag things like this. I'm just giving you some ideas. I'm not telling you to do it. Everybody needs to be known as, so if you're going to send an email, everybody should have the tag of a contact and a lead, but you could also have things in there like, you can have them categorized by A, B, or C. So an A contact, a B contact, a C contact. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm giving you some ideas. And an A contact would be somebody I know really, really, really well. A B contact could be somebody that you know pretty well. You don't know them super well. And a C contact be somebody that they may remember you, they may not. Now your goal is to take C's to B's and B's to A's. Obviously, you can do some tagging like that. Those are one way to tag them. By hobbies is easy to tag them. Anything that will help you, just get them in there. And every time you send an email, it goes to everybody. It literally goes to everybody. All right. Any other? Give me some takeaways on this pipeline right here.
Yesterday, Dan had mentioned about tagging them like A through B, C through D. And I didn't really get that until today. You mentioned the fact that, if you email everybody or contact everybody in your A through B, this, so on and so forth, and make sure by the end of the year, you've contacted everybody in your contacts 4 times.
Yeah, and the alphabet concept, the DTD2 or the DTD4, and I could even give the screen to Dan in a minute to show it. We don't do A and B. We actually mix them up. Like we have, the creator of that idea is a guy named Steve Schlueter, really good friend of mine. And he created this system where he made it fun. So he does like A and W goes together. He mixed together letters that have more, like there's national statistics on how many names start with the letter A versus the letter W. And so he also gives them themes like A and W, things like A and W root beer. So he does A and W and he does them themed. So have some fun. Dan and I've talked many times about the Market Center displaying the letters of that week. So everybody in the Market Center is on the same letters. So Letha, you're on the right track. I say it Letha or Letha?
Letha.
Letha, I said it right the first time. Okay. So Letha, you're on the right concept and we mix it up. I'll tell you another one interesting is we've had the idea, the concept of calling your database 4 times a year is not brand new. Matter of fact, you read the red book that Dan showed a while ago, MREA. MREA says to contact your database 3 to 6 times a year. MREA also says to contact your database 33 touches a year. Our advice, our research is showing do 36 touches a year. And it says 3 to 6 touches. So this is not new concepts of contacting your database multiple times per year. But here's what would happen is somebody would start calling their database and it's automatic, easy, that when you start calling your database, like if you're going to sit down right now and say, everybody go call your database, what would everybody do? Where would they start? What letter?
A.
Everybody would start at A. Now, everybody listen to this carefully. They would do A. They would skip a few A's with something called call bias. Call bias is when you decide not to call somebody because you have a bias like, I don't want to bother them. I barely know them. They're a busy doctor. They have call bias. Everybody with me? So they choose to call not to, so they go through their A's. They don't call some of the A's because of call bias. And then they get to the B's and the call bias gets worse. They get to the C's, the call bias gets worse. And by the time they get to about L, they stop calling altogether because that limiting mindset, that voice in their head has just told them you're bothering people. And they never make it past L. And so what happens is the second half of the alphabet never gets called. And so it's just kind of it's not really a true measurable concept. So everybody counts, everybody matters. All right. So that's really what I want you to get out of this right here. And that is, if you're going to call your database, you have all kinds of scripts in your database. I've given you I've given you very user-friendly, easy scripts just talking here today. Like if I was you, I'd call with low inventory. I'd call everybody you knew and said, hey, it's David or Keller Williams. As you know, I just started Keller Williams. I'm really excited about being an associate over here. #1 company in the world, a lot of support over here. And one thing I've realized just in getting leads, and a lot of the agents in here is we have a lot more buyers than we have sellers, and we have people that can't find homes. That's what I would do right there. It's not complicated. It's natural. It's easy. It's easy conversation. So, all right, what else? What's a takeaway? What's an aha? Give me something. Give me a takeaway of something you're going to implement of what we just talked about. What is your takeaway from this concept? Because if you don't have any ahas, that means you don't have something to implement. What are your action items? Let's do this. What are your action items coming off of this class?
Making sure I go and preview the homes.
Okay.
So I know what's out there.
So here's what I'll say as well. Preview homes after you've made your contacts. Make sense? All right, who else? What are your action items coming off of this?
I'm going to start implementing the embedded command, keep me top of mind.
There you go. Yeah, and Walter, you know what an embedded command is. So, which means you're just going to basically embed in their brain. Keep me top of mind is I think it's a great embedded command, actually. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, who else? What are your action items come off here? I want to know everybody's action items on this.
Calls.
What's step number 1 for you?
Oh,
Make calls. Okay, what else?
right.
Update
Thank you,
database.
Notes.
Thank you. Now, nodes is not mentioned in my section. I know it's in your daily goals of the 10 contacts, 10 conversations, 10 handwritten notes, and 10 previews. The 10-4. So I'm going to talk a little bit in a second about lead generation calls to non-Mets, but your 10-40. You do your 10-40. You start getting your database in command. You launch a 36 to convert. You're going to start having issues like, what do I do for a buyer presentation? Looking for homes, showing. So you need to start writing down what skills you need as well to work on. So as you start getting leads that you start working on the skills as well. It's all going to start coming together as you do Ignite, but what are the skills that we need to master along the way? All right. So your 10-4 is really, really important on here. All right. What else? What are your ahas? What are your takeaways? Are there any questions you have? This is the interactive part of the show.
So I downloaded through the marketing group a large list of contacts I've had from business and associates over the years. So do you think it would be a good idea to send like an intro email first to say, hey, this is where I am now. I'm going to be calling you in the next couple of weeks to get together with you and talk to you about real estate? Or that's sort of my quandary. Where do I start with
So Christian, are you did you transfer from another company, or are you brand new realtor?
I'm a brand new realtor. I was in investment management and banking for many, many years.
Okay, got it. So you got some professional experience behind you. I actually advise not to go into the area of being a new realtor, just a new associate. So I would 100% make sure everybody knew that you were a realtor at Keller Williams Realty, and almost assumptively how excited you are about being with this organization. Because people like to hear those things. It's not about Keller, it's more about your business, but it does help. I would just make sure you send out information almost assumptively, like they've been getting it all along, is what I would do. I wouldn't do any kind of introductory, like, hey, an announcement, things like that. I would just go into assumptive mode and just start putting them on a drip campaign from a smart plane, believe it or not.
Okay.
And then the conversations would be, did you know? I'm so excited. What a great company. I got great support, great training, those kind of things.
Okay. Thank you.
That make sense?
Yep.
So I have a question. I've noticed I have a couple realtor friends, and they just are all over social media right out the gate. Some of them are brand new realtors. Some of them have been in, real estate for many years. But I mean, every single day they're posting things on social media, reaching out to, adding new friends and this and that. I mean, would you suggest that that's a good tactic as well? I mean, even if you're not into the social media aspect of that?
Reality is, what percentage of people are on social media?
I would, a high percentage.
High percentage, right?
Yeah.
And what's the purpose in this case? What is the purpose of, what is social media the benefit for a realtor? What's the benefit?
I mean, you're reaching out to people who you will probably, I mean, you don't even know.
It's
friends
brand-
of friends of friends of friends.
It's branding. In other words, realtors on social media. So if they're seeing you active and they're seeing you do real estate, once again, what's your goal of a database? Like, I won't pull my flip chart over here. I would normally in a classroom, but if I was to draw a circle and that's your database, what's your goal of your database? I said it earlier.
I mean, you want to,
when they think of real estate, they think of you. When they think of you, they think of real estate. Make sense?
right.
And remember, people like to do business with busy people. And so they like to do business with successful people. Social media is a place. What's up, Stormy? Social media is a place to tell a story about you in their mind. So if you're posting, okay, so let me give you an example of how social media can apply. So I had a guy one time I was coaching years ago that was in real estate, and he was previously in the advertising agency business. Now, I want you to get this concept in your head, because everybody in here, your entire database, I think actually this may answer your question the best. So everybody in here, everybody that knows you has a place in their mind about you. In other words, this guy, like me, for example, I'm one of the investors, one of the owners of Keller Williams Southern Arizona, but I got real estate teams. But I've been in coaching and training nationally since 2013. So if you look on me, actually people on Facebook, I get a lot of people on Facebook that private message me questions about hiring a coach, because that is how I'm positioned in their brain. Everybody got it?
Mm-hmm.
So if Dan had somebody who was getting involved in was going to go into MAPS coaching, our coaching intervention, I would bet money Dan would contact me. I bet money Dan would probably tell them to contact me, because that's what I have positioned over all the years, having kind of coaching mindset. So there was a guy I was coaching one time, and he was transitioning from the ad specialty agency to real estate. And he sat down with him. I sat down with him one day, and he was having challenges getting his real estate going, and his ad specialty business actually went down. And so I talked to him for a little while, and I said, I can't remember the guy's name. And I said, you know what I think your database is confused. And when people are confused, what happens? They white out. They blank. They blank out. They white out. They don't think of any realtor. So I said, I think your database, you've confused them. I said, personally, you're in a mind share business on both of these. And everybody that thinks of you in ad specialties. And so you're kind of doing both, and they're kind of confused. And he finally kind of determined it was actually accurate. And I said, which way do you want to go? You want to be real estate, or you want to be ad specialties? He goes, real estate, I'll make a lot more money. I said, then you got to go all in. And so his goal was, so everybody in here, I want you to think about this for a second, is everybody in here, most people on this call have an industry you were in before, like Christian, you were in, what was it, banking?
Yeah, investment management banking.
So would you agree, how many years were you in that, Christian?
Oh, 30 years.
So Christian, would you agree that most everybody that knows you, if you were to go to your phone and you were to all just text them, Or you just call them and saying, you know, find out what they thought of when you think of me and what I do for work, what would they say, Christian?
I'm an investment guy.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
Christian's job right now, he only has one job. He has a sphere of influence. He has that group of people, a lot of people. And when they think of Christian, they think of an investment banking. And when they think of investment banking, they think of Christian. Now, what's Christian's job?
I think my job is now to say, okay, this is the investment that I think is great right now. I can lead you in that direction as well to show you great investments in real estate.
Just make sure you're not tiptoeing. My advice, Christian, of coaching a ton of people that have come out of investment banking and corporate type jobs, is that you can't tiptoe your way into a mindset change. You've got to blast your way. But Christian,
Okay.
right there, his goal is to take that entire group of people. So when they think of Christian, they think of real estate and investing and everything to do with real estate. Have I got it?
Yeah.
Now, Ashley, that's how social media is used. Social media is used to help tell the story that I am your realtor of choice. Now, once again, if people are posting pictures of their animals and all that, that's fine. But if you think, what do you think of when you think of them? They're going to say, that's a guy that loves dogs.
Mhm.
That doesn't profit me. What I need them to think of. So there's a part of our business that's politics. I'm not saying we're political, but politics is when you shake babies and shake hands and kiss babies. Does that help, Ashley? So what are some things you can do in social media to tell the story, everybody?
Guess what? I just became a licensed real estate agent with Keller Williams.
Yeah, and just make sure don't put anything in there that sounds like I'm a newly licensed agent. I'm not saying if somebody asks you how long you've been licensed, tell the truth, no big deal. But remember, if you go online and read anything about how to pick a realtor, it always says pick a realtor that's a year or more in the real estate industry. Everybody got it? Just remember that. So you're right on though. So hey, but I would go into assumptive mode. I would do something like this. You're in a class, take a picture of your screen, post on social media. Oh my gosh, I had one of the most amazing classes today. We just learned about how to build great databases and get better customer service, whatever. Everybody with me on that? If you're sitting and you're going to a preview. Now, never take videos inside of homes, but if you're on the way there, you can always go, man, what a beautiful home. Take a picture of it. It sounds corny. Do a selfie with it. Man, what a great day showing homes today. What do y'all think at the front of this house? You've got to connect people's brains with real estate and you. Everybody got it?
So you would say, don't take a video, like if you're at an open house?
I'd be careful of videos. People are sensitive of that.
Okay, because I've seen many of my, realtor friends, they're at an open house and they're taking a video, letting everybody know this is the address.
The fact is, if that house is on the market, it's available online and videos are available. I'm not telling you not to do it, Ashley. I'm just saying, there's been a few stories of things happening because people can then, what happens is, I know whenever we do a virtual tour or a video, it's staged, things are moved around. But if people's jewelry is out, things like that, I'm just getting your awareness up around it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking about the social media, because I've seen some be a little loud with their, open houses, and every day they're doing videos and postings. Yeah. And then I've seen ones who are kind of on the opposite end. So
yeah. I think there's a middle ground. I think you're on the right track though. I think your awareness is good. You're noticing. And you got to be careful of this. Let's go ahead and go to something, because I kind of went extreme on the posting. But remember that it's there's a kind of a terminology in social media. Don't be interested, be interesting. No, don't be interesting, be interested. In other words, you got to make sure you're not putting up 10 things a day of real estate. If it seems social, that's fine, because they still want to see you as a real person. So there's a balance in there. There's all kinds of ratios you'll hear. You'll hear 6-to-1, 8-to-1, 8 personal to 1 business. But if you're showing a beautiful home and you're like driving by, hey, what do y'all think of the front of this home? That's not to me marketing. Marketing would be posting about an open house I'm doing on Sunday, things like that. So just balance it out, get some advice, get some feedback, look at what you would like, etc. So.
Great, thank you.
You bet. Now, other types of lead generation. Now, we talked about the database pipeline today of lead generate, turn them into leads, and then they go to contacts, and they go down to that pipeline, and then they go down to the contract to close. When you start lead generating in other places like open houses, these are places you're going to find other ways to lead generate, like cold calling. You may go door knocking. You may do open houses. Wherever you can put yourself to where you can meet people is what you need to do. Now, what I want to encourage you, though, to do on this area is every time you go out and lead generate to people you don't know, those are people that your goal is to build your database, build a connection, build a relationship so you can get referrals and repeat business. So as you lead generate in other areas, don't just think I'm out there I'm just hitting the pavement just to get the numbers in. Every time a door opens, you just had a new opportunity to meet somebody. You meet them, you build a connection with them, you like them, something connects right there, they have some time. That person then becomes a contact, and that contact then goes into your command database. So when you do open houses, 10 people come in, one may be interested in buying right now. The other 9 go in your database. Everybody with me on this? And then you go back to your database and make sure you call them 4 times a year. You go to those 26 emails a year. You do a couple events, and you meet them. And when you meet them, you get to tell them things like, hey, yeah, we got an event coming up. I'd love for you to be a part of it. Let me get you invited to our event, like that. So you're going to learn about other lead generation methods in this course and throughout Ignite. But I want you to understand that meeting other people is not just about finding now business. It's about building your relationships for all future business. And that is one of the common denominators among all successful realtors, is that all successful realtors, the majority of their business comes from friends, family, and past clients. Even if they're not organized, it still comes from friends, family, past clients. All right, Dan, anything I missed? I'm out of PowerPoint. I talked a little bit about, I talked a little bit about your 10-4. Y'all got plenty of scripts. I know y'all kind of do that anyway, scripts and role play in the morning. Y'all still do that, right, Dan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Any real world questions for me right now?
So I have shaved ice trucks, right? I have a business that I own. There are 3 units that go out. And I came up with a sign. I mean, because we did Nova Homes last week. They've been having us out to the different offices around town, and we serve all their employees. So I put a sign on the side, hey, look, I'm a realtor with Keller Williams. And if you refer me to buyer or seller, then you get this truck for free for a party wherever you like.
Love it.
I had several people say, I don't know how to, I'm going to have a professional sign made by the sign company. So it looks really great and it matches the truck perfectly instead of a dry erase board. But I don't know if you have any good ideas to
market the crap out of that.
Because you get, we see, in the good times, 2,000-3,000 people a week, because all 3 units are out there, and they're lined up with people, moms and dads and their kids and stuff. So
what do you charge for that for a weekend? Like if I want to do that for a party for 2 hours, let's say, what would that cost me?
$250. It's about $125 an hour. And we'll make a deal with people. So
now here's my point though. I was just wondering what the cost was of what because it's soft money. I get it. But if that's being used there.
My cost?
Yeah, well, I know your opportunity cost is $250. You're losing $250 that you could use by sending it somewhere else, right?
Yeah. And we would just schedule it when we're not using it. So you know what I mean? It would, it's not
I love like ideas like that. Anything you can do to get people to go, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Just give the employees some cards. So if someone asks, they can give them a card and say, here, give Chris a call. He owns a truck, he's a nice guy, whatever, and go on from there.
Hey, Christian, you go like Chris, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay,
Chris.
thank you.
Yeah.
Chris, I don't like that idea. I love that idea. I think it's an unfair advantage that I would take advantage of.
Yeah.
Years ago, I came up with one where I said, buy a home for me and I'll move you for free. And what I did is I worked out a deal with a moving company, and I would spend up to $500 in moving expenses for them.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And it just became, all it is this. It says, buy a house for me and I'll move you for free. And what do you think I got people saying all the time? What does that mean? That's all they did. Now, if they were moving to another state, it didn't apply. And they'd ask for the closing. I said, no, because I worked out a deal with a moving company, because I only went up to like, I think I only went up to 350. It was like 3 rooms, you know what I'm saying? Up to 3 rooms. And then they would pay the rest. The moving company wanted it because they got the rest of the deal. Make sense?
Yeah. You could say, call for details, so you can, you put the parameters on it when they call in and say,
And if somebody goes, oh, there's details. I said, of course there is. It's not an open budget. I said, I couldn't afford that. I would love to. I just can't afford it. All those little things like that, really, anything you can do to get people to go. I'm telling you guys, you got to be real estate is an all-in industry. I mean, you literally the bad news about it is you should be lead generating all the time. You're like always lead generating, believe it or not. And people go, I don't like that. Fine. Real estate's not for everybody. I mean, it's one of those things where you start, real estate starts to become a feeder for other businesses too, because the databases you're going to manage in real estate, man, Chris, you're going to see your, what was the business? The ice, would you say it's like,
it's called, Kona Ice, the shaved ice trucks. Yeah, I own 3 of those.
Raspas in Spanish, right?
Yeah.
No. So, all right, great questions, by the way. That's the real world we're talking now. And every time you meet somebody, Chris, at one of your trucks, they come up, you get their information somehow. They ask about hey, what's that all about? And said, here, give me information. I'll send it to you. You don't tell them the information right then. You go, hey, great. Let me send you some information. All I need is your name, your email, your phone number. I'd love you to have your address. Could do some mailings as well with coupons.
Yeah.
Boom. You just got another person in your command database. And
same thing. I have several Airbnbs, and I do the same thing. Every time someone checks in, I say, hey, by the way, because a lot of them are coming from Oregon, Washington, California, Colorado, Ohio. And they're coming out here to vacation. A lot of them end up buying houses here. So I just say, hey, if you're looking for a house, let me know, because, I'm a realtor, and I always keep my cards kind of like on the refrigerator so they can take one in the Airbnbs. And I've already got a couple of leads from that. So
I love it.
So question on that, Christian, because I have an Airbnb as well. And I thought about doing that. So you got positive feedback on that?
Yeah, I have one couple from California. Their parents are going to buy them a house, and we're already working with them with Rich to get them pre-qualified, so we can start looking for the right price range. They told me a price, so let's get you pre-qualified with your parents first, so we don't waste our time. So we know what we can buy. Like we were saying before, you can't come in and start making offers on houses if you don't even know how much you can afford, or if you can even get financing.
Right.
You're going to get smoked. So
love it.
Yeah, but that works.
That's good to hear. I had wondered that. So thank you for that.
Because, you have a chance, right? When you're texting back and forth before they come in, you just let them know ahead of time. Hey, by the way, when you send them directions to how to get to your place, just tell them, hey, I'm a realtor, and if you're looking for a house, you're thinking about buying, let me know and I'll help you. It's easy enough. Then put some cards in there so they can grab one if they want.
Magnets on the fridge.
Magnets on the fridge, yeah.
Magnets on the fridge. Put a couple of them that way they know that they can take them.
Right.
Well, guys, I appreciate you guys.
Throw me host, David, and I'll take over.
This is what I taught today, just so you know, is literally what's going to make or break your business on a large scale. If you go out and you try and just claw your way through, you don't build a database, you may get some leads here and there, but you're not going to have a duplicatable business. You're not going to have a scalable business. What I want you to build is a scalable, repeatable business. It's going to be done through database management, having good systems in place, and doing the activities to stay in touch. So, I trust you'll embrace Command is honestly, all you guys are so lucky. We've been working with Command for a few years now, and Gary Keller released it before it was done. And we were all like, he says, I told you it wasn't done. And so, you get it where it's a good place right now. It's a great place, great product to use. So, well, guys, we're right at the 2-hour mark, pretty close at least. Got some good questions in there. Trust you got something out of it. And if you need me, Dan will send my information out. I'd love to help anybody I can.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Jones. Before you log off, David, throw me back host.
Thanks a
Throw you back.
lot.
Oh, okay, got it. How do I do that? I go here. I know I do it. Never mind.
Yeah, otherwise, if he closes it, we all.
Yeah, I was delayed. I don't know if you know that. I was holding off.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys.
I kind of want to lose the last bit of this, guys. Kind of a mastermind, because one thing a lot of new agents like yourselves want to know is, where do we lead generate from? So now we've kind of opened up the conversation around, doing it from a business aspect, using Airbnbs, doing social media. Let's get some other ideas of how you can lead generate. Raise your hand if you live in a neighborhood. The rest of you, if you live out in the sticks, you still have neighbors. When was the last time you talked to your neighbors?
My neighbors hardly come out.
So do mine.
Alert from System UI server.
Right, Jason. Exactly. Something. That's lead generation right there.
Neighbors. So Dan, how would you say about going that? Because I mean, I live over by Mount Lemon, in a cul-de-sac. So my neighbors are, there's not a lot of kids in my neighborhood, so I would assume they're slightly older. I mean, how would you reach out to your neighbors? Seems like they kind of like to keep to themselves.
Is it important for you to know your neighbors?
Well, I mean, that's a loaded question. I don't know. Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess.
Knock on the door, introduce yourself.
But okay. I'll take that. Some people don't like to be bothered.
That's
So
a limiting belief that you're telling yourself. My neighbor dropped off a giant freaking pumpkin pie to me the other day. One thing you'll know about me, I don't like pie. It was the gesture. I got to meet his wife. I got to meet their son. I got to talk to him for a couple of minutes. And it was nice to have, because in a community where I know everyone, he happens to be a realtor himself, which is kind of funny. But it's important for him to know his community. It's important for me to know my community, because my kid plays out in the yard. My nephew plays out in the yard. So I like to know that there's multiple people that know who I am, who my kids are, that look after them. But
Right.
on a grander scale, in the community aspect, it's important for me to know my neighbors, because they're my friggin' neighbors. If my house is on fire, I want them to call the fire department.
Right.
Don't call me if something sketchy's going on. Like my neighbor across the street, I actually sold her house. And every time there's a weird truck parked in front of my house, even if it's for my house or something else, she sends me a picture, said, "Hey, do you know who this is?" They're looking out for me. She has sent me a couple of leads before I ever even sold her a house. Just because I go out of my way, talk to her, say hi to her. My kid plays with her kid. But if you don't have kids, it's easy. It's important for me to know my neighbors, knock on the door, make a connection. Hell, my dog did the connection between my neighbor next door. He's like, "Hey, Dan, you got a sec?" I was like, "Yeah, what's up, Bob?" He's like, "Can I meet your dog? Because he barks at me every day." I was like, "Absolutely. Bob meet Moose, Moose meet Bob." And now Moose doesn't bark at Bob every day.
My dog just jumps the wall
That's
every
the
day.
generation is talking to people, and then as you see them, say, "Hey, good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Neighbor. How you doing?" "Great." And then they start associating you with good stuff, and then the good stuff becomes real estate.
Right.
It becomes very tacky when you walk up and say, "Hi, my name is Ashley. I'm a realtor. Can you send me your leads?" And we said it yesterday, if you missed it. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. And as a real estate agent, we're just trying to show, "Hey, I'm a realtor. I know what I'm doing." People don't give a damn until they know that you care about them as a person. Be more interested than interesting. Like David says, is one of the things I always say. He took it from me. But also come from caring. Care more about the person, the relationship, than the paycheck.
Right.
Another lead generation. We talk about social media. Raise your hand if you're on LinkedIn. Raise your hand if you're going to go on LinkedIn. Okay, thank you. LinkedIn is an untapped marketplace. That is where you can post a lot of real estate stuff that educated consumers will download and look at. It's not Facebook. It's not just puppies and kitties and happy pictures. It's actual people connecting on a business purpose. It's designed for that. So it becomes an avenue of really good connection. Underutilized. Twitter, underutilized. When it comes to social media on the entertainment side of it, I'm talking outside of LinkedIn, everything else is entertainment. You need to apply to their desire for stories. If you just post a picture that says just sold, they don't know anything about it. Get your client to do a testimonial. Hey, this deal was an absolute dumpster fire, but my agent, Casey, she killed it. She's awesome. She kept me all together. I love it. Do a video of it. Not just, congratulations to the happy new homeowners. It's so great. No, that's the end. If you haven't read it and you learn on it, it's Building a Story Brand. It's a book. Building a Story Brand. If you watch every movie ever made, they all follow the exact same plot lines. There's a problem. The protagonist finds their way, solves the problem, overcomes the goal, and then there's a lead off almost every time. That's a story. Knowing how to tell a story in social media will help you get more leads because it builds better mind share.
Now, would you suggest that, I mean, for social media, that you have a professional business page and then you have your personal?
It adds credence to your claim. I have a business page. I post a lot of business stuff too. I have a real estate business that I run off of that. I also have a personal page that I post a lot of random stuff on.
Okay.
And some of you that are my friends see a lot of random stuff, but I trickle real estate into everything.
Right.
Case in point. The shirt I'm wearing is a subtle marketing tactic. How many of these shirts do I have, Jason?
I believe one for every day, and they're all different colors.
Only purple on Tuesday.
Only purple on Tuesdays.
Red on Fridays.
Red on Fridays. Everything else is a crapshoot. You never know. But that's the simple things. I wear my name tag. This is lead generation. People know I'm a realtor by talking to me. I'm a real estate professional. So lead generation is everywhere. So we got social media, big impact because everyone's on social media at some point. We have neighbors. We have open houses that you can do, your traditionals, open houses, cold calling, circle prospecting. What other avenues can you think of for lead generation? Come on, let's be bold. Chris came up with putting a thing on his truck. If you guys have the MREA page 138, has a bunch of lead generation ideas.
Well, this morning I was had some movers over moving an old refrigerator and then a stove over to my mother-in-law's and taking the other stove out, and I just out there talking to him, kind of directing traffic, and I let him know that I'm a realtor and I'm working, and I say, hey, if you find anything out there, let me know. Or if you're looking for if you find somebody that's looking for a house or you see somebody that might be moving. And he said, hey, I might be looking for something. So we started talking about it. And so we're going to talk about getting him pre-qualified and find out, because he's never bought a house before, but he's thinking about it. So, I thought, I don't have any problem now. Just anybody I'm talking to, just mention it and see if everybody's thinking about it right now, because the market's hot. So that they're thinking about, should I buy something? I want to get in, that kind of thing.
I mean, I was going to utilize my previous profession as well. I mean, I was a teacher for 12 years. So I still have a lot of teacher friends. And that was one avenue that I was going to try to utilize, setting things up, having them set things up in the teacher's lounge. And they do a lot of events and making my way out to the events.
So events, there's one down there. So we got another one, teaching and speaking opportunities. Client seminars, having buyer seminars, seller seminars, getting people together, first time buyer things, there's some big opportunity there.
But how would you even go about that?
Social media.
Oh, okay.
Hey everyone, I'm having a first-time buyers seminar this Saturday at 3 p.m. at the Keller Williams office on River Road in the big conference room. If you want to, it's free. Just throw a link or click on the link or throw a chat down below. We'd love to have you. We've got room for 15. Refreshments will be served, and have a title company or a banker or lender come help you out.
Good idea.
What's next? Apartments. You feel like getting your legs stretched? Go get a bunch of hangers, door hangers, and hang them on the apartment doors. Or pay some kids to do it. Tired of renting? Did you know for what you pay in rent, you could own a home? My first year in the business, I probably did 15 rental conversions. Just by that line alone. Did you know for what you're paying in rent, you could own this place? Or even something nicer. You're paying $1,400 a month for rent? Jesus, my house payment on the north side's less than that. Really? Yeah, here, let's talk some more. How about this? Facebook groups. Tons of people communicating back and forth. It's community. I want you to think of five lead generation levers that you can utilize and hone in on them. If it's going to be cold calling for sell by owners and cancellations, if it's going to be circle prospecting, meaning you're going to call around your neighborhood and geographic farming, it's going to be doing open houses and doing them well. So not just putting a sign up, but actually door knocking and doing all those things. Is it going to be social media? You're going to be a social media giant, giving tons of value. Are you going to build a massive sphere of influence? I can tell you that my business came from having a massive sphere of influence. Where I grew up and where I live, everybody knows somebody who knows Big Dan Caldwell. The problem is, not everybody associates Big Dan Caldwell with real estate. I'm just somebody's friend that everybody knows. So in my career, I've been developing that friend in real estate where it's becoming a tie-in. So some opportunity. Awesome, guys. Well, it is 11:02. I want you to take this information, download it into your brains, and come up with 5 lead generation levers that you're going to excel with. There are hundreds of them. If you have the MREA, check out page 138. Has a list of marketing and prospecting ideas for lead generation. Number 1, forever and always, will be your sphere of influence. And that's the people that know, like, and trust you now, that we just need to fortify the bridge between you and real estate. They know you, they know real estate. They think of you, they think of real estate. They think of real estate, they think of you. Like David says, the mind share. We kind of did the activity a little bit yesterday. I'm glad he redid it again. So take action, add 10 people to your database, talk to 10 people in your database, send 10 note cards. Again, you fill them out, you envelope, you address, you drop them off at my business centers, I will mail them for you. Not me personally, but my staff. Even me personally, if they give me the roll of stamps, I'll just do it. But 10 a day and then viewing 10 properties a week. This is homework. It's pretty easy. Did you learn something today?
Yes, a lot.
Am I going to see you again tomorrow? What time does tomorrow start?
10.
10. Tomorrow starts at 10. Typically on Wednesdays, we'll have our all partners meeting at 9 a.m. Tomorrow we don't have one. We are going to have our Ignite classes on Wednesdays start at 10. So if you have not done so and you need to, come to the Market Center, pick up your Ignite book so you have the workbooks. You don't have to rely on the PDFs. We do have some at the River Road office already. I do believe the Kolb office has some, but if you need one, come get it. Make sure you have that resource, all right? My friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me and having your cameras on and being reactive, proactive, and responsive. It helps. Plus, you learn more. So go out there, do something great. Go change somebody's day today and smile. All right? We'll talk soon.
Bye.